And welcome back to All Over the Map. Thanks for tuning in. On this episode, we've got news of the day for the 28th of June, 2023. It's the GeoGuessr game where we pick 5 news events and sports events from around the world, and we try to locate these events on a map. One, to help everybody out there, where is this happening? Where exactly is this again? This helps for it, and to have a little fun playing GeoGuessr as well. So let's get into this game. We're going to play this game as we normally do, as a no time limit, moving, panning, zooming allowed challenge. The play along link, if you want to play along, is in the description below. We will go right into the game. We'll read the news article, a little bit of it, talk about it. If you got any thoughts, love to hear from you on your thoughts on some of these news events or sports events. Get your input on what your thoughts are, and the links to each of these news events will be in the description below. So let's go. Let's find out where GeoGuessr is going to take us on the first news event of the day for the 28th of June. And the first one we're going to start with is, it says back here, a couple things here. It says, why not change the world? But congratulations to the class of 2023. We're here at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is in New York. But why not change the world? Well, one person that's definitely changing the world, and the interesting news event of the day here at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, or also known as, I guess, RPI. Also, he's thinking RIT, just like MIT, but a technology school, is an interesting one. So the one that's changing the world. Let's get this out here. We don't want to see State Farm here. They don't sponsor us. They could. But anyway, the janitor heard annoying alarms and turned off freezer, ruining 20 years of school research worth $1 million, the lawsuit says. Turning off a freezer because of an alarm. A university janitor who turned off a freezer after hearing multiple annoying alarms ruined more than 20 years of research, according to a lawsuit filed by his employer. The janitor is not being sued, was a contractor with Daigle Cleaning Systems who worked for several months, and the school is seeking $1 million in damages and legal fees. The lab's freezer contained over 20 years of research, including cell cultures and samples, to which a small temperature fluctuation of 3 degrees would cause catastrophic damage. Wow, that's just amazing to me. The alarm caused the janitor to turn off the freezer and all of that school research. I don't know what to think about this one. Why not change the world? That janitor certainly changed at least something of 20 years worth of work in one of these buildings here at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And I can't imagine being the person who discovered that the freezer was turned off. It just baffles me. But, things don't surprise me anymore. I guess there weren't levels of security or something here at the university. That would really suck, to have put all that time and energy and research and have this stuff frozen at minus 80 degrees Celsius, and then because somebody was annoyed that an alarm was going off. I could see, there's one of two ways with this. I could see it being an annoying alarm, or is it one of those alarms, and I don't know where you are in the world, but what we have is a freezer, and our freezer will start dinging if it's open. I don't think that's wouldn't think that this is a freezer like you or I would have, but I don't know. It's an interesting story. This is the interesting, story of the day. Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute is in Troy, New York. There it is there. I guess it's RPI. I always just think of, no, I think it's the Rochester Institute of Technologies is RIT, but this is RPI. So that guy, I wonder what the janitor is doing today. But I think we're here just near the RPI Playhouse, in one of these buildings in the research lab at Rent a Slayer. So there we are. So we go from we start with the interesting news event of the day. I guess one that hopefully won't happen again, to going across the giant pond of the Atlantic to welcome to teal. What's going on in teal? Well, maybe another interesting news event. Teal here actually looks like this is a nice, beautiful Dutch town, because we got a lot of bikes here. And let's take a look at we got motorbikes. And does that guy have an American, so we come from an American, I guess, backpack, American looking backpack. Anyway, we go from America to the American backpack, but what's interesting about this? Well, there's an archaeological find in Netherlands. It's the Stonehenge of Netherlands. Archaeologists uncover a 4,000-year-old Stonehenge religious site, contains burial mound serving as solar calendar, as well as the remains of about 60 people. Dutch archaeologists have unearthed an approximately 4,000-year-old religious site named Stonehenge of Netherlands that includes a burial mound that served as a solar calendar. The mound, which contained remains of about 60 men, women, and children, had several passages through which the sun shone directly on the longest and shortest days of the year. This is the first time a site like this has been discovered in the Netherlands, and here in the village of Tiel. So let's look for Tiel. It's interesting because these burial sites, which the suns come in on the longest and shortest days of the year. There's Newgrange in Ireland, where I've been, which is it's a fascinating place, at least for me. This stuff's fascinating to me, uncovering this stuff 4,000 years later. And everything around the longest and shortest days, Stonehenge being the other one. So I'm guessing there's a lot of different places that to be uncovered in Europe and whatnot. Let's go find this out on the map where Tiel is. It's somewhere in this area. Definitely not at Intersport. But it's somewhere around here. Beautiful little town. It did say, if you really wanted to look at the article, we'll give you some clues here. But it did say here below, about 19 miles or 31 kilometers southeast of Utrecht in the Netherlands. So let's look for it. Let's look for Tiel. This is a nice little town, which is towards the southern part of the Netherlands, I believe. Southwest, it said. So Tiel is there. There it is, on the river Waal. So Tiel, beautiful town. I guess it's going to be around here somewhere, maybe right in the outskirts of town somewhere. It didn't really say that. Interesting name of Drumpt. Most thought of something else there for a second. Former president, Drumpt. Anyway, there we are, Tiel. If you've been to Tiel, if you know anything about the Stonehenge of the Netherlands or anything, comment down below. We'd love to know your thoughts. Is there anything else like this in the Netherlands, or is this I guess this is the first from that era. Let's take a quick look. I have the map up of Tiel, and then Stonehenge, and then Newgrange to see if there's... Okay, so 4,000 years ago, here's where the burial site was. And I think Stonehenge is in this area between Bristol and Bournemouth. And then you got Newgrange here. So I'm guessing you're going to have places here, probably some in France, probably some in Germany. I guess in this area you're going to find more, if not already. I'm sure people could comment on that. All right, well, if you're familiar with the TV show Married with Children, it was on Fox back in the day in the United States. To see I think this is the Buckingham Fountain in Chicago, where I think the opening of the show opening occurred. But we are on the lakefront here of Chicago, the beautiful city of Chicago, Illinois, on a beautiful sunny day here in the summer here in this photosphere. There's the former, what's called the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower, whatever they call it now. I think we got that egg down here. Soldier Field, I think, is to the south, where the Chicago Bears play. Beautiful city. I've been here. I've been out to Navy Pier, all around here. I've been through Chicago several times. Highly recommend it. But let's figure out what's going on in Chicago today. Well, it's more of what's happened in New York, the Mid-Atlantic, New England over the past month, and it's the Canadian wildfires once again sparking air quality alerts in Chicago and Milwaukee. And that happened on Tuesday. I'm not sure about Wednesday today, but heavy smoke from wildfires has prompted air quality warnings in Midwestern cities such as Chicago as well as parts of Canada. The outdoor air quality registered among the world's worst air quality was in Chicago on Tuesday, so I'm guaranteeing that beautiful view there wasn't happening yesterday, even if it was sunny. It was probably more like this. Visible haze and burning smell lingering over the region. I even think Chicago geographer, who's in the same GeoGuessr community, is in Chicago and noted that, I think, on his Twitter. Smoke continues to drift south and east across North America in waves. So I would imagine next couple of days you'll probably be seeing smoke and same stuff in the same parts of the United States as the general wind direction of the United States goes from west to east. So let's look up Chicago on the map. Not many times we get Chicago on GeoGuessr or on all over the map, but here we are, Chicago, Illinois. Might be in Chicago later this year at some point. So what I might be doing in the future, there's Buckingham Fountain. That's where I always want to say Buckingham Palace, but the elaborate landmark from 1927. But anyway, as I do my travels over the next year, I'll be probably putting some stuff up on Twitter, pictures, also on Patreon as well. So there's the two spots where I'm going to be uploading some road trip stuff, probably pictures at least, maybe some videos, maybe vlogs to come in the near future. So stay tuned. All right, so there we are, Chicago for the third news event of the day. 5,000 points. And we go find number 4. What do we have here? We've got the Arto Tulsa Arena. There's only one place the arena with the 2 E's could be, and that's Finland. The beautiful country of Finland. Well, why are we at a football arena? Why? Why are we here? There can only be one reason why we're here. Something's happened with Finnish football. Soccer, as we call it in the United States. And it's a big move. Teemu Pukki switches from football to soccer. Just like I said, with MLS move. The Pukki party comes to Minnesota United after 5 years at Norwich City in England. Teemu Pukki, why are we looking at this arena in Finland? Well, it's where he started. In Kotka is where he started his professional career, or at least his career. When I looked that up, that was pretty interesting. He started in Kotka. I guess he's from Kotka, which is a beautiful city. The one that I asked if it's a sailing capital. But anyway, interesting. Would love to know your thoughts about this move. He's the all-time leading goal scorer for Finland. I know that the Minnesota United is a Finnish, that's where it is. The Finns and the Swedes and the Nordic settlers throughout the United States, immigrants settled in that part of the world. So Minnesota is probably the most appropriate place. His contract runs until June 2025. Definitely need a striker there for Minnesota United. And I want to see if they put... so this is pretty cool. Not sure what this is going to show up as. Anyway, where's the Finnish flag? There we go. Adding a Finnish flag, I guess, to the stands. That's where I was looking for. Minnesota falls in a region where the U.S., where most of the population is descended from Finnish immigrants. He also has a national teammate, so that's pretty cool. He's going to have a couple Finns. So anybody from Finland, you're going to have to root for Minnesota United. Welcome to Finnesota, as they say. Welcome to Teemu Pukki. So he's under the Beckham rule. There he is. He's already arrived at the club. He's ready to go. He's ready to play. And I think I saw somewhere where he might be starting in a couple weeks in July, because the season for Major League Soccer is currently ongoing right now. So let's look up where this is. Two things where he started. This is where he started in Kotka. So let's look up this, and we'll go to actually where he will be. So we'll travel around the world in this round on News of the Day. So Kotka, we'll drop it where the stadium. There it is, the Arto Tulsa Arena. The music bar, Kotka. That's where Teemu started his career, where he recently was with Norwich in the championship, which I'm skipping over. There it is, Norwich. And now he is headed across the pond to Minnesota and Minneapolis, the home of, actually it's St. Paul, I believe, where the Allianz Arena is. So anybody from Finland that wants to check out Teemu Pukki and Robin Lod, go to the Allianz Field here off of, is that Interstate 94? Right on, beautiful arena, by the way. And that's where he will be playing his soccer, or as the rest of the world says, football. So there he is out in the northern plains, northern Midwest of the United States. Let's drop that there. Kotka, anybody fans of that club, or has anybody here seen Teemu Pukki play in person? There we are. So Teemu off to the United States to play against Messi, maybe. I'm not sure if they play against, but Teemu will be playing against Messi this year. Perhaps. We get off the fifth and final round, and we've got a interesting sporting event, a unique sports thing that I'm familiar with. Most of you probably aren't. But we got the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena. Bowhunter Brothers Convenience, ILA, which is Iroquois Lacrosse Association Sports, the Shop of Champions, Dreamcatcher Fitness Center. It is 12:47 p.m. in a random part in the middle of nowhere in Canada. This location. And why are we here? And what are the Iroquois? You may or may not know this, but this is a fascinating story for me. It's something that I love, a sport that I love. I love football. I love basketball. But I also love lacrosse. Most of you probably aren't familiar with. Currently, right now, is the World Lacrosse Championships happening in San Diego, California. The final, I believe, is on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. There are quarterfinals right now. And it's a great sport. I love it. And it is the sport of the indigenous folks, the native folks of the Americas, specifically the Iroquois, or the Haudenosaunee, as they call it now. An indigenous lacrosse team reclaims its native identity. A great story, this. The Haudenosaunee Nationals walk onto the field before a match with England at the World Lacrosse Championships on June 23rd. At this year's World Lacrosse Championships happening now in San Diego, one team has a new name and fresh dream to be the best in the world and showcases indigenous excellence. The quest is a gold medal. Says coach, the challenges will be real and large. Tiffany grew up near the Onondaga Nation in New York. Native Americans. He was the assistant coach to the World Lacrosse Championships in Israel, where they placed third. They were known as the Iroquois Nationals, but it's changed. The word Iroquois, subject to debate, but present-day Haudenosaunee is connected to the French for the sake of murder. Anyway, there's a wooden lacrosse stick that most players have plastic or titanium sticks, and the wood sticks, if you look into this is a Native American sport, and a wood stick is part of it's a medicine game. It's to treat and help the Native Americans. And one of the things that they do when they get a kid, when a kid is born, is get a lacrosse stick or a stick here made out of wood that the grandfather makes. And pretty interesting. They're buried with the stick. You see here the Iroquois or the Haudenosaunee tribe's flag, and specifically, this is a sport that was a gift to the world from the Native Americans, lacrosse. So there's origins. It's the oldest sport in North America. Our proper name is Haudenosaunee. That means the people of the Longhouse. So we decided it was time that people got the proper name. Onondaga Chief Orrin Lyons, the honorary chairman of Haudenosaunee Nationals. It's a correction of history, basically. So he was a legendary goalie. He started the program, and there he is right there. There's Chief Orrin Lyons. There is the Haudenosaunee National Lacrosse Team. So they've got their own passports. I know there's issues a couple years ago when they played in England. They wouldn't accept that as the passport. But the sport of lacrosse comes from the Haudenosaunee. Many indigenous nations across North America have their own lacrosse traditions, and this is what I was saying before. For centuries, it's been embraced as a sacred gift from the creator, ceremonially played as a medicine game. Fascinating. This is a great story. See them there warming up in San Diego. They are. I would love to see them win the World Cup in lacrosse, to be honest with you. They lost to the defending champions at 9-7. They played Canada. I think today they might be playing the Japan. I think in a quarterfinal match they're playing Japan, which would be an interesting matchup. Good game between two great nations. Hopefully the Haudenosaunee make it to the final against either Canada. I'm not sure where the brackets are. Canada, United States. That would be great. Considering when we look on the map where the Haudenosaunee is, or where this here the Iroquois lacrosse here in the Onondaga. I think the Iroquois or the Haudenosaunee go between Onondaga is Oswego. Basically, the nation of the Iroquois come from this upstate New York, carrying through to Canada. And actually, where this is, the First Nations, I think they call it First Nations, is around here. There it is, the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena in Canada. So this, I believe, and I could be wrong with this, but I believe that this team has players from both Canada and the United States. Somebody could correct me on that. So the Haudenosaunee Nation carries between the two countries here, or I think it was formerly known as the Six Nations of Native American groups here in New York and Canada. By the way, the game is being played, or the Nationals, the Iroquois or Haudenosaunee Nationals are playing in San Diego with countries from around the world. I highly recommend checking that out. Again, all the news articles are in the description below. That's a great story. You can listen to it. A great story to follow. Another great story with that Lacrosse World Championship is the Ugandan national team. Basically, these national teams, for the most part, have to fund their own way. Ugandan national team were helped funded by many people from around the world. Has some great stories for some homeless players from the streets in Uganda to actually playing in San Diego and scoring goals, which is just some phenomenal stories with the great sport that I really enjoy. So, with that said, those are the news events of the day. Finished close to 25,000, but not. I did finish 25,000. There we go. I did get a perfect score. Hopefully you got a perfect score. With that said, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.